This is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla in the new Full Battle Rattle Studios.
Those words, don't tread on me. Guess what sits above that? A rattler, a rattlesnake, rattling things. Coiled, prepared, ready to strike, willing to strike. So yeah, rattling, it's a good thing.
Her sales skyrocketed afterwards, and now she continues to shine, defending our president and our freedom while making eclectic, amazing music. Joy Villa is back on Mama Grizzly Radio, and we can't wait to talk to her in just a moment. Plus, we'll have the latest national and Alaska headlines and Sarah Palin news. We'll visit the Crow's Nest with Tanya Crow in California. Also from the Golden State, Kelly Carlson is on target. And a brand new installment of Liberty and Legacy with Tamara Colbert coming up from Texas. Welcome to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio, available at mamagrizzlyradio.com and now available at sarahpalin.com by clicking the More tab. The Palin Update is sponsored by Full Battle Rattle. Full Battle Rattle, helping veterans suffering from combat-related disabilities through the healing power of music. Learn more at facebook.com/fullbattlerattle.abq. She's back, and we're happy to have her here, the one and only Joy Villa. She is brave and bold and unafraid to fight for liberty. Always exciting to have her on the show. And now we welcome Joy Villa back to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Joy, how are you?
I'm doing so great. Yeah.
It's great.
How are you, Kevin?
I'm great. It's great to have you again. Listen, I got to tell you right away, our guest last time, Kaya Jones, she sends her love to you. I think she likes you a little bit, so...
Oh, my gosh. I love Kaya. That's my sister, my conservative sister.
She was so pumped to hear that we had a great chat, and then to hear that you were coming on, she was just pumped up. So I told her, I said, that's the first.
Oh, that's awesome.
I said, that's the first thing I'm going to tell her. The second thing I'm going to tell you is that my daughter still loves you and your music. Like, she is Joy Villa fan now. Like,
oh my God.
And
I love it.
And you know what? I don't know how many people you could say this about, but she knows We Are the Champions through you. I don't think she's ever even heard the Queen version. At least
You're
maybe.
Kidding me. Wait, how old is she?
She's 8, about to turn 9.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Okay.
So I introduced her to Queen's We Are the Champions.
I mean, she knows We Will Rock You, but I don't think we've ever played the other part. And here she's like, I love that song. And I told her the whole background. And it's funny because we are not, I mean, we're eclectic. I mean, she knows Hendrix and she knows Billy Joel and she knows older stuff.
Good taste.
But you introduced her to this, so there you go.
That is incredible. That's one of my points. That's like 25,000 points right there as a singer.
I love it. I love it. So we had a great time with you last time you were here and wanted to have you back. And, so much going on with you and so much going on with our country. But, it seems the support for you has only grown in more ways than one. And,
definitely.
We have this president that you supported that, doing a heck of a good job, I think.
He is. He really is. I mean, now we have all the, the first 100 days of Trump. And I mean, it's just incredible what he's accomplished in his first 100 days. Incredible as a president to say, I'm going to run on this and then actually do it and make it done, in 3 months or less. And that's awesome. And I've been fortunate enough to be featured in some of these first 100 days prints, like in Denmark and on the BBC. People are sending me stuff. Me and Andre Soriano are featured because we went for the March for Trump on March 4th in Washington, D.C. As a keynote speaker, I was speaking in support of our president and marching for our president in D.C., which a lot of people showed up. There was over 400 people, at the actual stage show, and then we had more people show up, so there was about 1,000 people marching at one time, which was incredible. And that's being featured as one of the things of his first 100 days. I mean, which is, great. Finally, they're starting to notice us Trump-loving people, some positive stuff. So that's really an accomplishment I'm proud of.
Well, that is so cool. And you did such a great job at that. And we love Andre on this program, as you know.
Thank you.
And,
yeah.
And I guess you liked it so much that, May 20th, the 19th annual White House Prayer for Our Nation, you're heading back to D.C.?
Right.
Tell us about that and what you want to hit there.
Well, this is just really monumental. This is incredible. So Reverend Terry Lee He's been working, in the inner cities of Harlem and New York City for years. He's a pastor, and he has been doing this for 19 years. And this year we're doing it, obviously, at the White House. Every year it happens on the White House lawn with a 1,000-people choir. And we have David Longoria, who's coming, the famous Grammy Award-winning trumpet player. He has an original song. So we're going to be singing praise songs and his original song, and I'm going to be singing and speaking. I'm one of the keynote speakers. And we're just going to be lifting up our amazing president and our leaders of this country and everyone in government in prayer. And that's going to happen May 20th. It's going to be incredible. There's actually tickets you can buy. You can go to whitehouseprayer.org, or you can donate, because it's a nonprofit event that happens every year. And it just gets fully funded by people that support prayer for the White House. And it's just beautiful. It's just going to be an amazing event. That's May 20th. That's this month.
I talked to you about this before, and Kaya Jones and others as well that have been on this program. And I just think when you have these events like this, when you're talking and praying with others for our president, for our country, it's great when anyone does it. But when a Joy Villa does it, I just think it resonates with a whole nother group of people. I mean, you've said this before on this program that being for Trump is we're the punk rock, right? So
we are punk rock.
So
That's right. We are the new punk rock.
Same deal here. Out there praying,
absolutely.
And but saying, walking away from it, saying
absolutely.
I really like her, and I think people see that, and they may be there, maybe just to see you or maybe to hear you, and then walk away with a greater gift, say.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, speaking of like gifts, and I mean, I've had nothing but an increase of fans, in the last couple months. And which is incredible, because there's more. I think there's definitely more growing support for the president. The supporters are becoming more vocal. We're starting to turn the tide, because the defectors or the haters are like, well, wow, they're still smiling. What's going on? They're not tired of winning yet. Maybe I should look at joining that side and checking it out. So I really think that this is just, we're waking America up. The president is waking America up. A lot of people have been sleeping and dead for years. They're grumpy. They're coming out of this long slumber. They're going to be grumpy. And now, as the president just perseveres and keeps going and keeps enacting these laws and really helping Americans, the normal American public, it's just going to be more of an awakening. And that's what's punk rock about it. It's like we're already starting this. And I have to say, like I recently posted on my Twitter, because it hit me. How amazing is it that our president got elected by normal, everyday Americans, not celebrities.
Right.
It's not a popularity contest for Hollywood celebrities to vote on. It's not American Idol. You know what I mean? Because otherwise he wouldn't have won, because there were so many celebrities that were just hating on him, and that made no difference.
Right.
So really, who's the opinion leader here? It's honest to God, real good old-fashioned Americans, with their hand in the dirt, just the normal people who are working every day and who really want change in this country. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a change. We are punk rock, being Republican, being conservative, being, pro-president, pro-God is punk rock.
And there were a lot of people, Joy, who I think that this was it. If he didn't win this election, they probably would have never voted again, because they would have said, you know what, these things are rigged.
Oh, totally.
It's all big money.
Yeah.
It's all who you know. It's all, let's stick together. It's a pro wrestling deal. We pretend we're fighting, but it's really one big country club. And the everyday man, and the president has said this a lot. The forgotten man, the forgotten woman. You're not forgotten, anymore. And that's
right.
That's huge, for lack of a better term.
It is. It's huge.
Joy, your sales exploded. I mean, after the dress and after you talking and everything, and I mean the music's great. You're great. And so,
Thank you.
Your stuff should sell anyway. But we all know that one of the big reasons is because you were, brave enough to go ahead and speak out. And the videos you do are great. What, did you walk around New York with your MAGA stuff
That's
on?
Right.
Tell everybody about that. And what was the reception?
Sure. Yeah. So, I have this idea rattling in my head for a while. I wanted to do 10 hours in New York City as a woman Trump supporter. And that's kind of a take on they had that 10 hours as a woman.
New York values, right?
Yeah. And then, so there's a video that went viral. That's a woman walking through the city for 10 hours. And, you see what happens. She gets catcalled and whatnot. Well, I was like, what? I want to do my own version, but I'm going to wear my Make America Great Again hat, Trump Pence T-shirt, American flag jumpsuit, American flag backpack with a little drawing of Trump on the back.
I
that
love
says
it.
Vote
So
from
great.
his campaign, which was given to me by John Pence, by the way, who's running his campaign and who is our vice president's nephew.
Oh, that's
So I
great.
put that in because the back of the backpack is clear. So I put that just in case you have any doubt from behind. And I walked through the city for 10 hours, and we filmed it over 2 days. And one of the days that you see it, most of the footage, it was raining. It was New York, busy, packed with people, and I got all kinds of reactions. You can see it on my website at joyvilla.com. It's up live there. And actually, we premiered it on Fox News. We gave them the exclusive. I went to New York. I flew to New York to talk about it, to release it, and now it's got over 40,000 views, and it's just taken off. People are really reacting to it. The reactions are not what a lot of people thought. And I think that's what's so cool about it. And then also, you just got to see the video. Obviously, all your listeners got to go to joyvilla.com, and it's on my YouTube. So my YouTube's posted on there.
All right, and we're going to link that too on Mama Grizzly Radio's Facebook page and everywhere else. So what's the latest, Joy, from the recording side?
Well, you know what? Exciting stuff. I actually have a song I just finished writing, and we went into the studio and did a demo, and we're about to take it up a notch. And my first single is about to be completed before the 4th of July. It's going to be awesome. It's dedicated to America. And I'm working on my next album, so there'll be lots of new music coming. Should be coming by the summer for everyone. And music videos following, of course, inspired by my life and really my beliefs, as always, as my music always is.
So exciting. We are so happy for you and proud of you. And
Thank you.
Love talking to you. Thanks for joining us again. And May 20th, the big prayer event on the White House. Check it out.
Right.
Joyvilla.com. You can find out more information. Joy, you're welcome here anytime, as you know. And again,
Thank you. I want to say one thing, too.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm shooting a film, and we're doing an Indiegogo campaign for it, and it's produced and directed by a black Trump supporter. And it's going to be fun, but you'll see that one. It's coming out soon.
Oh, wow. Great.
We're doing a whole campaign. It's going to be a feature. I'm starring in the film, and I'm co-producing it.
Oh,
it's going to be
excellent.
a thriller.
So just stay tuned. Stay tuned on that.
Yeah.
What do you play?
I play a detective.
Oh, wow. I love it. Oh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
going to be badass.
That is awesome. That is great stuff. Well, we're going to look forward to that. And again, always great to have you. I mean, I could say this with no trepidation. You are my favorite vegan.
Yay!
I know a lot of vegetarians, but as far as vegans, I think you're my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
Well, that's awesome. I'm honored.
And it's,
say hi to your daughter. What's your daughter's name?
My daughter's Blair.
Blair, shout out to you. You have excellent taste in music. Excellent, Blair.
She's going to love that. She's going to love that. Probably the best shout out she's gotten on this program since Larry the Cucumber talked to her and my son. So that's
Oh, Larry the Cucumber, VeggieTales.
That's good stuff. Yeah, you got I mean, listen, we run the gamut here, right? From Trump to Palin to Larry to Joy, we got everybody. So
I love it.
Joy Villa, you're the best. Keep going.
Thank you.
For more, check out joyvilla.com, one of the coolest websites you'll ever see. Joyvilla.com. Now it's time for Sarah Palin news, headlines, and more about Governor Palin. Battered persons syndrome, no more. Dangerous hypocrisy and rhetoric. A top Democrat is okay with protecting our enemies, but not our president. Defending DeMint. Trump dumps nerd prom for we the people. Will Trump have the chance to appoint another Supreme Court justice in his first term? Bill, the fake science guy, strikes again. Dude's losing it. Sarah Palin and so many Americans observe the National Day of Prayer. Happy Cinco de Mayo from way up north. Redefining getting all wee-weed up. Disgusting Colbert continues to be painfully unfunny. And Sarah Palin features my new piece on our buddy Dave Bray and his amazing new song and video honoring fallen police officers. You can read it and see Dave's heartfelt video at sarahpalin.com. Thank you, Governor Palin, for showcasing this story honoring our police officers. To read all about these stories, visit the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page, and to see any of the governor's posts in their entirety, and to read her devotionals, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page, follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA, and don't miss the new sarahpalin.com. Now let's head to the crow's nest. Here's Tanya Crow.
Thanks, Kevin. So I have thought obviously a lot about healthcare and the country as a whole this week, but what came to me was the idea of individual versus collective. And I think this is a massive difference between the left and the right, because in my opinion, the left has done everything to destroy, to weaken, to eliminate the individual, and to strengthen, to uphold, to make most important the collective. And the issue with that I take is it's not viable. You know, I've been a yoga instructor now for 15 years, close to 20. And the body is a miraculous mechanism. It's an amazing collection of individual parts that is a vessel for life. And as a collective, you're only as strong as your weakest part. You know, Obama spoke about fundamental transformation. I remember people just getting so excited about his hope and change message. And all I heard was fundamental transformation. That's all I heard. And when I hear that, when it comes to the United States of America and the amazing mechanism that we have through our Constitution, through the Bill of Rights, through the founders, to establish a society that strengthens, that's supposed to strengthen and give power to the individual to be the best it can be for the collective. This is what makes me patriotic. This is what drives me to want to make more money, want to teach my daughter how to be a community member, how to earn her way, how to take ownership. And to me, the fundamentals of this country are, here's a government that supports you as an individual. The more supported you are as an individual, the better you're going to make the collective. And how important that is to me as a citizen, as a mother, as an individual. And that is the prize that I want to keep my eye on. Until next week, this is Tanya Crow with Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tanya Crow on Mama Grizzly Radio. More from the Crow's Nest next week. Now, on target with Kelly Carlson.
Thanks, Kevin. So I'm sitting here with my husband, Tracker Dan, and you know, for the past week or so, we've had a lot of our friends here and co-instructors with Dan, and we often sit and discuss like systems, you know, martial arts systems and how that they can fail you in time of need. And I brought Dan here to explain it a little bit more. I understand it. I'm sure most of you out there will too. But a lot of the things that Dan teaches and Ed, other instructors, are kind of free from, you know, martial arts systems, keeping it simple, keeping it free from a lot of gear, and really getting to kind of your primitive ways of moving. And anyways, I don't want to glom it up, but Dan, explain kind of the things that we've been talking about this week about, you know, how martial arts systems can fail you.
Well, it's, you know, they're based on for profit, so people have to try and sell something that's new and different or complex, you know, to make people feel like, oh, I need that, you know, in my life to feel confident. But, you know, Ed has kind of brought me full circle, Ed from Ed's Manifesto. And, you know, like I've sought out so much different training over the years and been given so much training on the SEAL teams. And, you know, how effective he is with the training he's gathered over the years, he just says, you've really got to focus on practical stuff, like knowing how to, you know, process an animal like a hunter would, or, you know, knowing how to get through the woods, you know, that are thick and you got to chop a path, you know, knowing how to use different tools in just practical ways is going to apply to survival situations, it's going to apply to self-defense situations. And I don't care how many katas you do with a sword on the mat, it does not equate to actually chopping through things and, you know, experiencing what that blade will do when forces are applied on it from different angles. And you don't want that first time to be, you know, in a self-defense situation, because there'll be a lot of learning lessons that you may not survive. So just, you know, being confident in practical skills. Like, it's rare to see people sitting around whittling and carving anymore. You know, like, you need to use your blades, you know, on a daily basis in a way that builds confidence with them, that you know how to be safe with them so you don't end up chopping or slicing or piercing yourself.
Can I bring up something?
Yes.
On your card, there's a saying that says your blade has to be as skilled as you are. And what you mean by that is your blade has to be able to perform in ways that you need it to. So if you have, I don't know, I'm just making this up, a karambit and you want to stab somebody, maybe not stab, but you know what I'm saying, or through flesh, you need to, that's not going to fulfill that for you necessarily. Maybe you can, I don't know, but you need a blade that you know is designed and built and can perform in a way that you need it to. But you won't know that unless you are, you know, like, for instance, I cut up my dog's meat because I feed them a raw diet. So I'm constantly cutting through bone and flesh. I get to know what my blade can do for me.
Yeah.
Or cutting through brush. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's lots of blades that people are carrying out there that will not perform well when put to the test. I mean, they just aren't designed properly for slicing, even chopping a lot of times, or piercing, you know, just because of the way they're designed. So, yeah, no, that's a very good point, that you need to know how to be able to select the blade. And unless you're out there chopping and piercing and chopping, or slicing, you don't understand the difference between a blade that can perform well and one that doesn't. And you should all learn how to sharpen blades too. Like, the Razor's Edge Book of Sharpening changed my life in just being a better carpenter, a better woodworker overall, survivalist, a butcher, you know, when I was processing, you know, meat, you know, that from animals I had hunted. So yeah, it's...
I know on the teams, everyone had you sharpening their blades.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I can see that that's important to know how to sharpen your blade, because you have a bunch of team guys who don't know how to sharpen their blades.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you taught them how too, right?
Yep. And, you know, those that had the patience for it.
Right.
So it's when you experience a sharp blade as opposed to a dull one, you know, it makes life so much better. Or any cutting tool that's sharp. There's less damage, it's safer because you have more control. And knife safety is a big one too, like, or with any edge tool, whether it's axe for chopping or any of that kind of stuff. Knowing that none of your body parts are in the path of where the force is behind that edge. And, you know, if you are carving towards yourself, it's done in a very particular manner so that you don't open yourself up. You know, and being aware of your surroundings so you don't cut somebody else by accident. You know, all these things are, you know, just common sense, basic skills that everybody should be raised with, but not everybody has the exposure to.
One of the things that I learned from you and Ed was thick blades. You see a lot of people with thick, dense blades, but that creates so much friction defensively that you'd be surprised what that blade will not go through because of how thick it is.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't, you know, a layman like me, I've gotten to know this stuff because of you, because you're an expert with knives, and so is Ed. But I would never have thought of that. So I often will see people that come to the classes or something, they have very thick blades, and I'm thinking, I've seen those blades. not penetrate clothing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's and because people are very abusive with knives in general, because they don't understand, you know, well, I mean, there's just, in the past, there's people who've designed blades that are so thick because people tend to pry with them, so they wanted to turn them into crowbars, but a crowbar does not cut well, it does not pierce well, and it does not chop well. So, yeah, I try and make all my designs perform, the way they should. And
some multi-purpose crossover.
Yeah, definitely crossover whenever possible, and when it's not going to affect one or the other.
Is that so? I hesitate saying this, but a lot of times in you guys' training, you will have a pig that
Yes.
that is perished. It's not alive, and you guys test out all of your blades.
Yeah, you just need to be able to see how a blade's going to perform. What kind of, edge needs to be, like edge adjustments need to be made to make it perform better. That sort of thing. There's a lot of tests out there for blades that aren't practical. Like slicing paper may show you that you have a razor's edge, but you could have a very thick edge behind the razor's edge that's not going to go through things that aren't the thickness of paper. So, there's you got to be practical with.
And we were
with your
surprised
tests.
by one of our own blades.
Oh,
With the
yeah.
punch badger, how
Yeah.
that just went through bone and filleted. We weren't expecting that. So it's important that
Yeah.
you test out your knives if you're using them defensively, but also in survival situations too. You don't want to break your blade
Yeah.
because you don't know the stress and pressure it can take or what it can't.
Yeah, and the punch badger was meant mainly for piercing, but because of that forward rake on it, it makes more of a wound channel than most large chopping blades.
It
I mean, it's-
outperformed the Tomahawk.
Yeah.
Which
no,
was
it's-
shocking. But it's like even experts don't necessarily know unless you're constantly testing it. And we're, it's our industry, so we have to be real specific and understand what you sell to people and what it can and can't do. But I think most people that do carry a knife, it's utility and defensive, probably across the board. People carry a blade that can do both. Maybe they carry it for utility purposes, but they will also use it defensively if they need to.
Yeah.
Therefore, you should test it defensively on flesh and bone
Yeah,
as
and
well.
and a lot of people think that, this type of blade's made for fighting, and this type of blade's made for woodwork, and it's like a blade that is designed to cut and pierce well works well for both.
And here's a perfect example. Ed's favorite knife is a fruit knife.
Yeah.
Defensively.
Yeah.
We'll let that one land for a second. A fruit knife.
Yeah, and a lot of that ties into being able to procure it easily in wherever
Sure.
you travel to,
Right.
and conceal it easily, and it doesn't look like a defensive tool or an offensive tool. So
And boy, does he know how to use it.
yeah,
But he trains. So anyways, this is just some food for thought for people. We just came off of a long training week, and I observe a lot. I mean, I train too, but I am observing the instructors and why they choose what they choose, because they only teach what they use out in the field, which I greatly appreciate. I can't say that for all instructors. And so I what I love the most is how you guys keep it practical, and there's other instructors out there too that are very practical, and I'm going to end on this. Another thing that you say about like gear with your firearms or just any gear is keeping it simple.
yeah,
So many things there's all these add-ons and they look tactical and cool and all this and that, but a lot of these trinkets become hazards.
oh yeah, totally,
And by the way, you don't want to stand out and look like you're some tactical person.
yeah,
Just on principle, you're the number one target. So
yeah.
Is there anything you want to add to that?
No, that sounds great.
Cool. Thanks, honey. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, Kevin. This is Kelly Carlson for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tune in for more On Target next week. Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
Hey, all you Mama Grizzly Radio fans, I am so excited to tell you that the Convention of States Project Texas team, along with the Texas House, passed successfully our Article 5 resolution, making Texas the 11th state. Woohoo! The vote was 94-51 in the House, almost a 2-1 margin. It was amazing. Our Texas grassroots, nothing less than extraordinary throughout the entire process. They persevered. They were positive, professional, and resilient. Always staying in control, never letting emotions or the ups and downs of getting through the Capitol bring them down. I have to be honest, right now, I feel powerful, extremely powerful as a citizen of the United States of America. I have never, ever been part of a group or helped pass legislation ever in my life before. But I've spent the last 3.5 years getting a PhD, a doctorate in legislative policy. And with my colleagues here at the Convention of States, here in Texas specifically, we worked tirelessly to elevate our cause and amass a large enough grassroots army that it really made the Convention of States a force to be reckoned with here in Texas. And we achieved it. We have more than 125,000 foot soldiers, leaders, and supporters in Texas alone, all agreeing upon one key thing, and that is that the federal government will never, ever fix itself and limit its power. The lack of will this week to fully repeal Obamacare demonstrates this fact. The House is weak. The solutions for fixing the nation must come from the states, not inside the Beltway. When legislators stalled in Texas in the 2015 session in the Senate, we had faith that God had a purpose for this pruning. We believe He wanted us to be more fruitful, that we hadn't really stretched our wings and gone beyond our own feeble minds to see the possible. We just saw what was right in front of us. I also believe that God wanted us to recognize that we had to rely on Him to get this passed, that the Austin swamp itself was too big for us to navigate alone. So, on January 1st, 2016, Texas launched a massive prayer warrior team, divided up our legislators so that every single day of the week, 6 of them were prayed for by name, so that every single month we were praying by name for every single legislator in our state. Little did we know that this was the magic, the serendipity, the key to our success in Texas. I want to be clear. We prayed over everything and for everyone. We took nothing for granted. I mean, you can see this that just a week after we launched our prayer initiative, Governor Greg Abbott announced his full support for the Convention of States. And trust me, this sent a massive earthquake throughout the entire state that's really been rumbling ever since. This 85th legislative session in Texas was absolutely no different. Our grassroots had backbones of steel. Their resolve was unrivaled. And more importantly, we noticed that before every major decision to act as a group, we prayed, received confirmation of the way that we should go. And each time we did, we had no idea it was reverberating around the Capitol, disrupting the senior leadership who had their own plans for us. And it wasn't to give us hope in a future, it was to harm us. So for the record, their efforts were thwarted while ours succeeded. This week, an extraordinary thing was that the Texas Gideon Army won a major victory by passing the Convention of States Resolution, SJR2. It was a great, great day for Texas, but also for the nation, because around the country there were other states, Convention of States volunteers, and legislators watching what Texas was doing. Many have been waiting for Texas to act, believing that if Texas chooses the pathway of Convention of States, they have then a major ally in fighting against and dismantling the deep administrative state in Washington, D.C. Thank you, Governor Abbott. Thank you for being a champion for the grassroots. Lieutenant Governor Patrick, we thank you for getting this done so efficiently and quickly in the Senate. Of course, our Senate sponsor, Brian Birdwell, a real hero who rose from the ashes of the Pentagon on 9/11 to be one of Texas's toughest constitutional voices in the Senate. Thank you, Bullet, a.k.a. Representative Rick Miller, who was our legislative sponsor in the House and our honorary squadron leader. Heroes are born through adversity, and Representative Miller didn't always toe the leadership line that he was supposed to. It can't be easy. I cannot imagine what he was getting as pressure. But God didn't tell us our races would be easy. He just told us we need to run our best every single time we get into the arena. Representative Rick Miller's background as a Navy fighter pilot, well, it proved him well, because there were many moments this session that he was in heavy combat with us and what we were up against in the House. So we thank you. We salute you. We love you, Bullet. The joy, the thrill of this accomplishment ultimately lies with the grassroots in Texas. We knew this was not a slam dunk. We knew we would have to put elbow grease into this session. And from June 2015 through the beginning of January 2017, our leaders across the state conducted more than 400 presentations and meetings educating citizens and legislators at every opportunity as to what the Article 5 process was, who is the Convention of States project, and what is our power as citizens and as these united states against the federal beast. It was extraordinary as we continue to sign up people. One of the things that our state leaders have recognized is that when conservatives win victories, they stop marching. They go back to doing what they were doing before they were needed on the battlefield. And we can no longer let that happen, because there is an evil element of people in this nation, a small minority actually, who want to fundamentally transform America into a socialist third world anarchy. You know what? We don't want that. And we're never, ever going to let it happen. We're never going to go back to doing what we were doing before we were needed on the battlefield. What we are doing now is raising and training up citizen leaders around the nation in every state, in every single House district in America, to be on guard and vigilant. In Texas, we tell our volunteers, we aren't going anywhere after we pass, so you can get a little tiny break to catch your breath and enjoy the victory. But we're going to launch phase 2 and continue the work that God has empowered us, has enabled us to start, not just in Texas, but in the rest of the nation. Please stay tuned, because phase 2 is about to launch. And in the meantime, we are one state closer to calling a convention that will dismantle the administrative state, the federal level, and return the power back to the people and reaffirm the Constitution and our nation as founded upon self-governance and individual independence. Tweet me this week at Tamara Colbert, hashtag Mama Grizz Radio. Thank you to our Texas team. I love y'all. You are my family of choice, my Liberty family, and I adore you. I would follow you anywhere into battle. Have a blessed week. I'm Tamara Colbert for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more Liberty and Legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy, On Target, and The Crow's Nest, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also available at sarahpalin.com by clicking the More tab. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Tamara Colbert, at Tanya Yoga 13, and at FBR ABQ. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Just go to breitbart.com/columnists/Kevin-Scholla. I'm also contributing to sarahpalin.com. Please check out my latest piece this week. Visit sarahpalin.com/author/Kevin-Scholla. Honored to be working on the governor's new site. I want to thank Tamara Colbert, Tanya Crow, Kelly Carlson, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Joy Villa, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, Full Battle Rattle. Visit facebook.com/Full Battle Rattle, ABQ. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lori Ann Lewis. Great job by our producers this week. Extra time and extra hard work put in. Much appreciated. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update right here on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.